Florida, getting ready to see Bobby Bowden's #1 team in the country. The Florida State Seminoles face their first test of the year as the Duke Blue Devils come to town. It's the Seminoles and the Blue Devils coming up next on ABC Sports.
When kids connect with a special adult friend, the results speak for them.
I got 10 minutes and thought I'd give you a call.
Oh, since when did you get 10 minutes to call anybody?
Oh, come on. You know I've always make time for you.
All right, baby. What's on your mind?
I just had to let you know about this great team I've come across.
No kidding? Tell me about them.
Well, they're fast, they're committed, and they're a super bunch of guys.
Sounds just like those fellas at Superlube.
Superlube, service you can trust every 3,000 miles.
Lotto tonight at 11 on Tallahassee's News Channel 27.
The following is a special presentation of ABC Sports.
For the fourth time in 8 years, the Florida State Seminoles begin the season ranked as the #1 team in the country. And the Seminoles getting ready to come onto this Citrus Bowl field. And ABC Sports and the College Football Association today feature an ACC matchup from the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida. It's the Florida State Seminoles and the Duke Blue Devils. And the Seminoles come out on the field. Hi, everybody. I'm Terry Gannon, along with John Spagnola, my partner. And John, Bobby Bowden seems to do it every year. They lose 10 starters from a team that went 10-1-1. They won the Sugar Bowl last year. Here they are ranked #1 again. Nothing seems to change.
That's incredible. The last time Florida State was ranked below #5 in the country, Ronald Reagan was the president of the United States, and even he had a year of eligibility left. This team has more depth and more talent at every position than any other Bobby Bowden coached team, and hence that's why they're ranked #1.
3 administrations, a long time for Bobby Bowden to keep this up. On the other side of the coin, Fred Goldsmith comes to Duke last year. They had a losing record in the 90s. All he does is go 8-4 with a team that was picked to finish last in the ACC.
That's right, and they returned 14 starters from last year's team. Now, last year, they had to learn a system under new head coach Fred Goldsmith. This year, they get to perfect that system. They fully expect to be a better football player than they were last year, but they go against #1. We'll see what happens.
A brand new attitude at Duke this year, but a major test today for them here in Orlando. Florida State taking on the Blue Devils of Duke. Coming back in a moment.
Bob and Judith Akers look forward to the day they can retire to a little business by the sea. No easy project to take on alone. Fortunately, a Dean Witter broker was there to help them chart the proper course.
Each individual's dream is unique. So too must be our solutions.
Now the Akers not only have a place they can call home, others can too.
Be back at 10.
We'll leave the light on.
At Dean Witter,
We measure success one investor at a time.
Starting at about $1 a day, you can get the best television has to offer with Prime Star. Movies, sports, and family programming, all with digital picture and sound. Best of all, Prime Star is a service, so there's no equipment to buy. And it all starts at about $1 a day. To find out more, call 1-800-PRIME-STAR.
The Krylon Touch
means making the old look new.
The Krylon Touch.
And the boring becomes beautiful. Show your true colors.
Don't just paint, give it the Krylon Touch.
Only with Krylon.
No trendy health club. No $60 shorts. No excuses. Speed 6 no-nonsense formula gives you 110% protection. Like you, it never quits.
By Linen.
Popping with flavor, more flavor than ever. Lift that too.
It's the right thing to do.
Popping with flavor.
Bring those right crisp flavors, they're new.
And the taste indulging,
right thing to do.
Tangy sour cream and onion. Now more flavor on the chips. Less fat and less grease across your lips. Popping with flavor. Bring those right crisp flavor.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
Welcome back to the Citrus Bowl here in Orlando, and Chief Osceola aboard Renegade, continuing one of the many traditions at Florida State, besides winning, christening the new season. Today here in Florida at the Citrus Bowl, it's Florida State taking on Duke. The first game of the year for both of these teams. Obviously the first ACC matchup for both teams. Last year Duke 8-4, a surprise year under Fred Goldsmith. And Florida State, of course, 10-1-1, and a winner over Florida in the Sugar Bowl.
We should mention Duke won the toss but deferred to the second half, so they will kick off.
And Tom Cochran, the senior from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, gets us underway. Jermaine Green deep in his end zone, and he watches it fly out of bounds, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line, and that's where Danny Kanell will get them underway. Kanell, of course, took over last year, John, for Charlie Ward, and put up awfully good numbers. These are his numbers against Duke, almost 400 yards in the air.
And he's playing with a lot more confidence. You know, Charlie Ward told him Danny wouldn't believe the difference 1 year makes, but he has a lot more confidence, not only in his knowledge of this offense, but in his physical abilities.
Yeah, and I think the Florida game, the comeback where they tied Florida 31-31, a huge game for Danny Kanell last year. And he starts in the shotgun, the fast break offense right out of the gate for Florida State. 4 receivers and Warrick Dunn. Over the middle, there's Andre Cooper, and he is tackled at the 25-yard line, a gain of about 5 on first down for Florida State. And let's take a look at the Chili's starting lineup, the backs and receivers. Dunn, Andrews, Messam, Cooper, and Charlton. Warrick Dunn, the 5th 1,000-yard rusher in Florida State history. He did it last year. And Andre Cooper, the man that they want to go to all day long. Out of the eye now on 2nd and 5, and here's Dunn looking for room across the 30, and he may have the first down. And the offensive line for Florida State, always big, always fast, as it is for Bobby Bowden, it seems, year in, year out, and really led by their center, Clay Shiver.
And Clay will be the quarterback of that offensive line. Right now, Florida State's in a hurry-up offense. He'll point out the blocking schemes. You'll see him pointing to guys. He's telling everybody what to do. This guy is a quarterback in that offensive line.
So 1st and 10 at the 31. Kanell to throw again. And there is Cooper out across the 40 to the 41. He may have another first down. John Zwanich, Brendan Pollock in on the tackle. You know, you talk about what Florida State does in retooling. This is who they lost on offense. Last year, Zach Crockett, the fullback, Hez McCorvey, Omar Ellison, all draft picks, and doing pretty well in the NFL as well. All backups in the NFL. And you know, I don't know how he does it every year, John.
Well, he does. But notice the 2 wide receivers they lost last year. If there's any element of concern in this offense, is there's some inexperience at the wide receivers, but on the flip side, they are 8 deep at the wide receiver position, and they all are tall and can run and jump and catch the football.
Well, in talking to the coaches, that was a big concern, but after the fall camp, they feel a whole lot better about their receivers, including Andre Cooper, number 1. Another first down for the Seminoles, and back to pass again is Kanell. And there's Cooper again near midfield. John Zwanich and a host of tacklers wrapped him up, but a gain of about 9. The defensive line for the Blue Devils, led by Bernard Holsey, the nose guard. He will go against Clay Shiver all day long. Orlando Adwaters and Mike Stallmeyer also in there, a 3-man front.
Holsey's a big guy. He's very quick, and he bench presses 500 pounds, so it will be a very good test for Clay Shiver.
Pooh Bear Williams, the fullback, in for Florida State for the first time today. Warrick Dunn behind him as Kanell checks off at the line of scrimmage. Dunn straight ahead, still on his feet and still on his feet. Looking for room. Inside the 25 to the 24, and there you get a look at what Warrick Dunn can do. A gain of 26.
Danny Kanell called an audible before that play. Watch Warrick Dunn. He'll get some draw action right up the middle. A good lead block by Pooh Bear Williams. Breaks it outside. Now look at the vision of this back. Watch how he just cuts into the open field. Terrific vision, and he makes people miss.
So first down again for Florida State. Kanell throwing into the end zone and a touchdown. E.G. Green on the catch. And Florida State on the board early here in Orlando.
Well, Florida State ran this pattern previously to the left side. E.G. Green was covered. They threw to Andre Cooper underneath. This time they cover Cooper. and Kanell goes deep to E.G. Green.
So 6-0 Florida State. 24-yard reception by E.G. Green.
And Duke has the question kicking off in this football game.
And it's blocked, and I believe Ray Farmer got a hand on it. Ray Farmer, number 22, who has blocked 9 kicks in his career, blocks another one. But the Seminoles lead 6-0 early.
Everybody figures that dogs like to chase after things. Well, we do. To a point. But not over and over again.
Come along.
As for me, well, I don't go chasing after nothing that don't have soft hair, big eyes, red dog, oh, it's so easy to do, and a real nice set of
Come here, Daddy.
teeth.
A lot of what I do goes on behind the scenes. You know, most people aren't exactly on a first-name basis with their State Farm claim representative. They know their agent, but they probably don't know that their agent has a partner, that we're a team, that we've worked on hundreds of claims together. But people take notice when a claim is handled promptly, and you won't get too many complaints if you just treat them fair, because that's when people appreciate what we do and who they're insured with.
More paste, thick, and chunky salsa. Here. This ain't paste, thick, and chunky salsa. So? Paste has got big chunks of tomatoes, onions, and peppers. Perfect for dipping.
And it's made in San Antonio. Well, folks who know what salsas taste like. This stuff's made in New York City.
New York City? Pick up the thick and chunky one. Pick up the paste.
Animal.
The Miami Hurricanes going to UCLA to battle the Bruins, or the Colorado Buffaloes stampeded to Wisconsin. It's a primetime showdown on ABC's College Football tonight.
And on the touchdown, Danny Kanell rolls out right. Now you'll see Brandon Pollock, number 2. He's underneath, covering another receiver. E.G. Green's able to get in the end zone behind T. Edwards. And watch Ray Farmer, how he jumps up in the air. Now, as long as he doesn't use anybody else to jump up in the air, that's legal. Show what great athletic ability he has as he blocks yet another PAT.
And Andre Cooper, a big part of that drive. 6 plays, 80 yards for Florida State. And just over 2 minutes off the clock here in the first quarter.
And that puts a lot of pressure now on the Duke offense, having to try to answer that quick strike by Florida State.
And Scott Bentley with his first kickoff of the year. T.J. Redmond at his own 4-yard line. And out across the 30 to the 31. So a nice return for the Blue Devils. And they'll get started at the 31. Spence Fisher at the helm for the Duke Blue Devils. And you look at his numbers, 60% completion rate and well over 6,000 yards in the year. Third-time all-time leading passer in Duke history and 7th on the ACC list. And here's an unheralded quarterback, did a great job last year. I thought, learning a new system under Fred Goldsmith. Lamar Marshall, the lone back in the backfield. Fisher to throw and dropped by Joe Apollonik out in the flats. He threw a little bit behind him. Now we'll take a look at the Chili's offensive backs and receivers for Duke. Marshall, Apollonik, Thomas Wilson, and Kayat. And Corey Thomas, the wideout that they love to go to. And Bill Kayat, an unusual tight end. They'll throw to him quite a bit.
Both those guys, Thomas and Kayat, have to get involved in this offense early. And Duke cannot afford to drop the ball on first down.
And here's Lamar Marshall straight up the middle out to the 35-yard line. Gain of about 4. Todd Rebold in on the stop. And the offensive line for the Blue Devils, a good one. John Merrill, Manley, Ega, Melita, and Chappell, and some leadership from the upperclassmen there, John.
And they ran right behind Jerome Ega, who's in grad school right now. Wants to be a professor, number 70.
So 3rd and 5 for Duke on their opening drive. And he's wrapped up in the backfield. Down goes Spence Fisher. Tyrant Marion in there to record his first sack of the season.
Tyron Marion lines up right up inside number 86. You can see number 66 tries to come down on him. Philip Chappell cannot get there in time. We talked to the Florida State coaches. They said this is the fastest defensive line they have ever had at this school.
Well, look at some of the people they've had. Derek Alexander and the other linemen. It's hard to believe that that could be true, but Orpheus Roy leading the way this year. Tyrant Marion in on the sack. And flags everywhere. And a legal procedure on the Blue Devils. You know, when Florida State came into the league,
dead ball foul. Ball start. Offense. Repeat, fourth down.
3 years ago, John, the thing that really, I think, surprised everyone, or at least the thing everyone talked about in the ACC, is you look at Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator, is their speed. And they took it up a notch. The teams in this league were not used to competing against the speed of teams like that.
Well, we saw Mickey Andrews there, and he told us they recruit linebackers to play defensive line. It's no secret. Miami's been doing it. It's amazing to see how well these guys move.
Tamari Roll back at his own 35. And plenty of room here. Dances to the 44 and drops right there. And so that's where the Seminoles will start their second drive of the game. A 43-yard punt, 5-yard return. Florida State up 6-0.
Every day we all find a way. A promise made, a promise kept, giving it our best.
America's most complete source of auto parts, a national warranty program, and customer service only Napa can give. No wonder more people trust Napa to keep their vehicles running.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
You put the chicken on the grill and you smoke it all up. Put the cheese on the chicken and you wrap it all up. With the guaca, you put the guacamole with the pico. Sprinkle on pico de gallo. Put it all in a tortilla. And now you got a Chili's fajita.
Nobody makes chicken fajitas like Chili's. Nobody.
An important study was presented at a national sports medicine conference. It shows that for the sore muscles occurring the day after a strenuous workout, Advil provides superior relief to extra-strength Tylenol. It's strong and fast. If you exercise regularly, you should know that more doctors recommend Advil than any other pain reliever for all types of muscle aches. For next-day soreness, Advil just works better than Tylenol. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
CFA College Football on ABC Sports is brought to you by Prime Star. We bring you satellite television down to earth. Dean Witter. There are many ways to measure success. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time. Red Dog Beer. Bold yet smooth. Unusually easy to drink. You are your own dog. And Napa Auto Parts. We keep America running. Sunny skies here in Orlando, Florida. Terry Gannon along with John Spagnola. 11-12 left in this first quarter. Florida State taking the ball right down the field on their opening drive. They lead at 6-0. And Danny Kanell leading the Seminoles with good field position here, starting at their own 44-yard line. And 4 receivers in as they go to the shotgun once again.
And one lone receiver on the wide side of the field.
Kanell up top. Intended for Cooper and out of bounds.
Oh, Brandon Pollock's very lucky he did not get a flag on that play as he looked like he was face guarding. And it's no secret this is a guy that Florida State wants to go after. Look at number 2 at the top of your screen. Andre Cooper going on him. They get the one-on-one coverage by overloading the formation. And you can see some bumping, just a little bit of bumping right before the ball, but the referees do not call that.
How about the concentration by Cooper, though, huh?
To
with
make
the bump and to still catch it. Kanell the throw again. There's a shot. Wayne Messon with a catch and out to the 36-yard line of Duke. And the linebackers for Duke, a very good bunch. Kirkland, Abunaway, Granville, and John Zwanich, an all-ACC linebacker of last year in that banded back position. They allow him to roam. Granville and Zwanich both excellent linebackers for Duke.
That's right. Zwanich had 15 tackles last year against Florida State. It was his best game of the year.
And really their big play man on defense. First down at the 38 of Duke. And the inside handoff goes to Rock Preston on his first carry, and he's ahead to the 32. Secondary for Duke, maybe a question mark coming in here today against this explosive offense. Ray Farmer, the man who blocked the extra point, now with 10 blocks in his career. But some inexperience back there, and certainly the coach is worried about that right arm of Danny Kanell.
Ray Farmer is one of the guys they want to free up to do as much as he can on defense. Out to the flat, that's Aaron Deli with his first catch.
And he is rolled out of bounds at the 24-yard line. So Kanell awfully hot to start this game.
And it doesn't look like a whole lot has changed statistically from last year to this year. Florida State, one of the best passing teams, first in the ACC, one of the top teams nationally, and Duke was ranked last against the pass in the ACC. That hasn't changed so far.
Here's Rock Preston trying the right side, trying to get outside. Inside the 20 to the 17-yard line, and while we have a moment, let's send it back to New York and check in with John Saunders. John?
All right, Terry, thanks a lot. We, of course, will be here all day bringing you scores and highlights. The first one for you today, West Virginia ranked in the top 25 up against Purdue, and Rick Trebsker 18 yards to Brian Alford, 10-0 Purdue, and they win it 26-24. Back to you, Terry.
All right, John, thank you. Good one between Purdue and West Virginia, and Florida State just rolling here inside the 5, and another reception is E.G. Green, the man who caught the first touchdown pass.
E.G. Green, number 19, playing inside in the slot formation, just checks up in the zone. And you can see that Tawambi Settles, number 6, gives him a lot of room and doesn't close quite in time.
And Duke barely got on the field that time. They give to Pooh Bear Williams over the right side, and he's in the end zone. Touchdown Florida State on a play in which Duke was not even lined up yet.
No, this is a fast break offense, and when you can get a guy that's 280 pounds in there and surprise the defense, you can tell the Duke defense is already tiring. That is not Pooh's you hear, that is Pooh that you hear from the fans.
One of the great names in all of college football, and he is listed as Pooh Bear Williams, not Clarence, his real name. So Bentley on for a second point after try. And this one clears Ray Farmer and through the uprights. And all of a sudden, it's 13-0. The Seminoles rolling here in Orlando.
Guys, rise and shine.
The way things are stacking up, this may be a good time to move, which means you need a real estate agent. An agent with a name you'll recognize. One who'll market your house at the right price. A Prudential real estate professional who won't rest until it's all put to bed. The Prudential Real Estate Affiliates. The Rock is the answer.
I got it!
Coors Light, the silver bullet. It's shipped cold to tap the clean taste of the Rockies.
You may not be able to play long today at 280 pounds, but Pooh Bear Williams playing well early. The 2-yard run for a touchdown, and the Seminoles up 13-0. 9:47 left in the first. T.J. Redmond back deep, along with Cedric Tate. And he lets this one bounce out of bounds.
That almost hit the side judge in the head.
And a look at Bobby Bowden in his 20th year at the helm for Florida State and going after win number 250, trying to become only the 5th coach in Division I history to do just that.
8 straight finishes in the top 5. Only coach ever to do that. 8 straight years this team has had 10 wins or more in a season. It's quite a legacy he's put together.
And Fred Goldsmith came on from Rice last year, where he turned that program around. They hadn't won a winning season since 1963. He won there. He won last year at Duke, an 8-4 record with a team that was picked to finish last in the ACC. So first down at the 35 for the Blue Devils. Fisher to throw. Opelenic with the catch out to the 48-yard line. And the defensive line that Spence Fisher will face today for Florida State, awfully good. Boulware, Roy, Wadsworth, and Marion. John, you said it earlier. The coaches say this is the quickest, maybe the best defensive line they've had.
And again, they're 8 deep, and they're going to be rolling those defensive linemen in this heat all day long to keep them fresh.
So first down at the 49. And the give to Marshall. Straight ahead, he's got room. Across the 30. And out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. A big run for Lamar Marshall as he takes over this year for the ACC Player of the Year, Robert Baldwin.
And Lamar Marshall just eclipsed his career carries at Duke. He had 16 yards coming into this game as a career, and he breaks this one off. Fabulous job breaking right up the middle. 33-yard run. That's terrific boost for Duke's offense.
Well, it is, John, because last year they weren't able to move the ball at all against Florida State, especially on the ground. The first drive, they could not move the ball, and here they have it inside the 20. Marshall the lone step back again. He gets the call this time, and he's got room again. Down to the 14-yard line. Florida State, the linebacking core, Cowart, Sherman, and Todd Reboll at that bandit back position they call it, and he will roam and he will make a lot of tackles today.
Todd Reboll is a Butkus Award candidate, as is John Zuwanich here on the football field. That's given by the Downtown Athletic Club here in Orlando.
2nd and 5, and this crowd getting noisier. Will fake to Charles London. Kayat in the end zone, touchdown Duke. Bill Kayat on the grab, the Duke tight end, who a year ago caught 49 passes. He was a second-team All-ACC performer, and now catches a 14-yard pass to put him on the board.
Florida State caught in the blitz. You see the linebackers coming in. That means it's man-to-man coverage, and Kayat works into the corner, gets Robert Hammond, makes a nice over-the-shoulder catch.
And a nice throw from Fisher. He put it right in his hands. And Cochran on for the point after. It is up and it is good. So, John, 13-0, and Duke answers with a long drive of their own. And Billy Kayat, Spence Fisher have to feel a whole lot better at this point.
A lot of what I do goes on behind the scenes. You know, most people aren't exactly on a first-name basis with their State Farm claim representative. They know their agent, but they probably don't know that their agent has a partner, that we're a team, that we've worked on hundreds of claims together. But people take notice when a claim is handled promptly, and you won't get too many complaints if you just treat them fair, because that's when people appreciate what we do and who they're insured with.
Forget old-fashioned oil-based paint. Now there's a new age of rust protection. New Rust Tough Latex for metal. Even in the harshest weather, it's as durable as oil-based paint, yet cleans up with soap and water. New Rust Tough Latex for metal.
No trendy health club. No $60 shorts. No excuses. Speed 6 no-nonsense formula gives you 110% protection. Like you, it never quits.
By men. Shake it, no dandruff. You've got Selsun Power. Brush it, no flakes. You've got Selsun Power with Selsun Blue. Doctors recommend it #1 over all leading brands. Dandruff problem? No way. You've got Selsun Power.
When my son Reed asks about sore muscles in his pitching arm, I tell him to take Advil. It's strong, works fast, and Advil's gentle on your stomach.
If it'll work on these old muscles, then I know it'll work on mine.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Monday night, it's the season premiere of ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. Dallas Cowboys taking on the New York Giants as we kick it off. Plus, Jeff Fahey stars as the Marshal. Action Monday starts this week on ABC. Check your local listings for the times in your area. And the Blue Devil smiling after the drive by Duke. 4 plays, 65 yards, and the 14-yard touchdown pass to Bill Hyatt. And here's Rock Preston inside his 5. And somehow still on his feet to the 34-yard line. He disappeared, and all of a sudden, you see number 4 or number 24 to pop out of there.
They've got 2 great quarterbacks in the game. Here's a
You look at what Danny Kanell and Spence Fisher have done so far. They each have a touchdown pass. Kanell, of course, with more yardage out of that fast break offense.
And Fisher, the one incompletion is the drop by O'Ballona.
Andrews and Dunn in the backfield, out of the eye, and the play action. Screen out to Dunn. Hops over one tackler and out to the 38-yard line. So a gain of about 6 or 7 on first down. Kenan Howie in on the tackle.
Check your own.
Of course, Nebraska with the huge win the other night, 64 points in their opening game. And LSU, Texas A&M, Jerry Gennardo's first game at the helm for LSU.
And they've got a great running back. Kevin Falk, most sought-after running back in the country.
Kanell on the rollout, and plenty of time. E.G. Green, we've called his name before. And into Duke territory out of the 48-yard line. A first down for the Seminoles. John Swanich, number 26, pushed him out of bounds. Houston and Florida set to go tonight. And remember the Florida story. 4 players involved in what they call debit fraud, including Fred Taylor and Riddell Anthony, 2 starters. They will play tonight in that game, but that is an ongoing investigation. And certainly a story that Steve Spurrier did not want to see happen.
2 starters on offense, one a tailback and one a wide receiver.
Kanell overthrows Dunn, and it's almost picked off. Kenan Howie was there, and that ball, if it floats 1 more half second, it's picked off. Auburn, of course, coming off probation, ranked number 6 in the country.
Yeah, they have the shackles off, as to Washington.
ECU and Tennessee, of course, athletic director Dave Hart at Florida State. Just came from East Carolina and has taken over here. It was Lane Messam at the 45-yard line. That play looked like it was in slow motion. The ball hung up there a long time. Alabama, of course, we will have a story at halftime back in New York concerning Alabama and their probation. And, of course, Miami and UCLA tonight. You can see it here in this region. 8 o'clock. And Rich Davis, the new head coach at Miami, a major test for him in his first game. 3rd and 5. Here's Kanell again. And it looks like he's just short of the first down.
Plus some confusion in the offense. Aaron Deli ran off the field. Pooh Bear Williams came onto the football field to go to a 2-back set out of the shotgun. And Danny Kanell had to scramble. He's very close to the first down marker. But right now, Bobby Bowden is probably going to decide just to kick the football and not take a chance.
I think he has a short 2 yards to go. And so Sean List will come on, Florida State punter. And Adam Geis will go back for Duke. The first time today, the Seminoles have to punt the ball. Geis at his own 10-yard line. He's going to let this fly behind him. And down inside the 2-yard line. Byron Capers is there to down it. 40-yard punt and no return. 13-7, Florida State leads it with 6 minutes and 22 seconds left in the first quarter.
This reminds me of last year's game. Duke spent most of the first half operating in the shadow of their own end zone.
A lot of shadow here. They're at the 1-yard line, and there's Bill Kaya out to the 6-yard line. When in doubt, look for Kaya.
I guess so. And, you know, you have to have confidence in your offensive line to be able to protect when you run play action from your own end zone. If there's any penetration at all, you lose 2 points. But now at least Duke gets a little breathing room, and they're operating so much better on first down than they did last year.
Gain of 5, so it's 2nd and 5 at the 6-yard line. Lone setback again is Marshall. And they give it to him straight up the middle. Nowhere to go, though. He may have gained a yard. That's about it. This defensive line for Florida State awfully tough to run against. Lamar Marshall, a sophomore out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And as you look at Michigan up 7-0, a huge game in the Big Ten today, especially for Illinois.
Oh, sure, but Scott Driesbacher, that great comeback against the other ACC team, Virginia, last week. Really, as a freshman, got a lot of confidence now coming into the second game.
Virginia at home against William and Marion. If you look at that game last week, John, for the ACC, it would have been so huge for them to get a non-conference win on the road against a team of Michigan's caliber.
Yeah, it really would have helped the whole conference. And Virginia deserved to win that football game. They clearly outplayed Michigan.
And North Carolina later tonight on ESPN. Washington, you mentioned up for probation and hoping to go to the Rose Bowl, but they're down to Arizona State at this point. It is hot and humid today here in Orlando. We've got some clouds overhead. They say we may have some showers, but we'll see the players deal with that this afternoon. Tomorrow night on ABC, you are the stars of America's Funniest Home Videos, and then Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher are the stars of Lois and Clark. And Virginia Madsen stars in a story of real-life fatal attraction, a murderous affair, the Carolyn Wormus story. And it's all tomorrow night here on ABC. So Duke with the timeout. And we are told that Duke does not have any of the cooling devices on their sideline today. Florida State does. And
well, I thought the home team should have the advantage, shouldn't they? But technically, Duke is the home team here today. That's the neutral site that a couple years ago they were able to work out to play here at the Citrus Bowl.
Defensive backs for Florida State. Sean Hamlet, the only returning starter, and so that's certainly an area of concern for Bobby Bowden, but a lot of talent back there. And Byron Capers, the man who downed that punt on the 1-yard line. So it's 3rd and 4, an important play here for Fisher. And he's got Corey Thomas, but he juggled the football. Incomplete.
That's right. Byron Capers came in and timed his hit beautifully. The pass would have been complete for a first down. Capers came in and jarred that ball loose. And the only thing that has stopped Duke so far is themselves in the passing game.
Right on the numbers, but look at the hit by Capers. Now, when you come in to play cornerback for Florida State, you're following some pretty good names here.
Yes, it is. He does a nice job, and they've had All-Americans here since 1987 with Deion Sanders. Leroy Butler was an All-American. Terrell Buckley, Corey Sawyer, and last year Clifton Abraham. So you're following. This is cornerback U. Maybe Miami is quarterback U. This is cornerback U.
Don Krieger back to punt for Duke. Samari Roll, the sophomore out of Miami, back to receiver. And a good kick by Krieger. This is going to send Roll inside his own 40. And hit at the 48-yard line. And that's where Florida State will start. And while we have a moment, let's go back to John in the studio in New York. John?
All right, Terry, thanks a lot. South Carolina and Georgia. The Gamecocks actually led this game at one point 17-7. It was 28-17 Georgia when Bobo goes 45 yards to Robert Edwards. His 4th touchdown of the game. He would finish with a school record 5 touchdowns, 4 of them on the ground. 42-23. Terry.
All right, John. Georgia rolling between the hedges, and
Ray Goff, as a coach, has not won an opener in a while. That's a big win for him.
Now Brad Scott, the former offense coordinator here at Florida State at South Carolina. Here's Kanell to throw on first down, and there's his tight end Melvin Pearsall. What a catch! Ray Farmer there to make the stop, but a gain of 19. And Pearsall, a question mark coming into the day, but Not a bad first play.
Well, he's a cross between a tight end and a wide receiver, and that's why when you go up for the football like that, you play the position like a wide receiver.
So first down at the 33. Pooh Bear Williams and Warrick Dunn in the backfield, out of the eye. Kanell slips and underthrows his intended receiver, Andre Cooper.
You know, we talked to Mark Rick, the offensive coordinator. He made it real clear the objective here offensively is just to run as many plays as possible in the first quarter. As you see, Kanell just slips out. Looks like he didn't quite plant his left foot. Some sloppy footwork on his part. But they want to wear out Duke. They want to run as many plays as possible. They want to throw the football. They feel their second team offensively is a lot better than Duke's second team defensively.
The pitch to Dunn. He breaks a couple of tackles, and he's got room. He may get there. Touchdown, Warrick Dunn.
Excellent run by Warrick Dunn. He shed several tackles. He spent a lot of time in the weight room this offseason. To break it on the left side, Pearsall steps down, gets a good block. It's a kick out. Now watch him just keep his balance. The Duke defense is not wrapping up. You do that when you're a little bit tired.
Ken Holly had a clear shot at him, and I'm not sure that's something you can teach. I mean, Warrick Dunn, just with the ability to bounce off tacklers and get there quickly. Bentley in again, and it's good.
And that's unfortunate for the Duke defense because they had no yardage on first down. They looked like they had Dunn wrapped up on second down, and instead he breaks it for a touchdown run.
Well, you talk about momentum and confidence. This is a confidence buster. I mean, Duke comes back and scores to get on the board, and Warrick Dunn puts Florida State right back on it.
That's right. He's 5'9", 178 pounds. And you have to get lower to him, and he's a very powerful man for that size. You have to wrap him up. You cannot just hit him. He's got far too good balance, and he will not get knocked down.
Now, we've seen Florida State throw often already here today in the fast break offense. A year ago, Warrick Dunn, halfway through the season, went to Bobby Bowden, tugged down his shirt sleeve, and said, I could become a 1,000-yard rusher if you give me the ball. And Bobby said, okay, I'll give you the ball. And that's exactly what he did, the fifth 1,000-yard rusher in FSU history.
He figured it out. He said, I need 125 yards a game the rest of the way. How about it, Coach? And the thing that's interesting, you look at Warrick Dunn and all of his talent. Brock Preston, they said, is interchangeable as a running back. They said he can step in and do the same things. Just kind of like Dunn got the first chance at playing running back, and he did a great job.
Oh, it happened a year ago in their opening game against Virginia. And Warrick Dunn was banged up a little bit. Brock Preston stepped in. He had a great day. And I think that's how the Florida State coaches look at it. They are absolutely interchangeable. And that's a big statement because there's a lot of talent between those two young men. Cedric Tate at his 11-yard line. And no better than the 22 on the return. So Duke faced with the challenge of once again trying to match Florida State on the scoreboard. And John, not only go down and stay in this game, but also maybe run some plays to give their defense some rest. You look at the other action in the ACC, Virginia hosting William & Mary, Carolina tonight against Syracuse. Clemson a big win over Western Carolina, and they will face Florida State next week at Death Valley. And Georgia Tech with a big win over Furman. And Maryland Tulane as well, and the shovel pass blocked by Peter Boulware. That's an incomplete pass.
Shovel pass is a play that they tried to run last year, not very effectively. They used a little different wrinkle here off of almost a reverse action. The play looked like it had something going. And as Boulware gets his hand on it, or is it Henry Crockett? Now it is Boulware. Does an excellent job of knocking that thing down and recognizing that play. That's a play that the Florida State defense was very concerned about.
Neymar Marshall bouncing off tacklers out to the 29-yard line. And Marshall getting some work early on. A host of backs trying to replace Robert Baldwin. We mentioned he was the ACC Player of the Year last year, and that's a big question mark for Duke. On the other hand, Florida State trying to replace some good ones as well. Derek Alexander, Devin Bush, Derek Brooks, who should start for the Bucks tomorrow.
That's right. And two of those first rounders are juniors who came out. It shows you how talented Florida State's is.
3rd and 3 for Spence Fisher. Under pressure and underthrown. Marshall, the intended receiver. So that's some punishment. Renard Wilson in on the quarterback pressure, and Bobby Bowden enjoying how this one's going.
Todd Rebold, number 48, was able to get in there, make some things happen as he closes on the quarterback. And again, Duke has got to keep itself out of those situations. Play action passes don't really work on third down when you have to throw the football.
So Kruger in once again for his third punt of the day. A low snap, but he gets it off. Samari roll back to his 22-yard line. And makes something out of nothing out to the 30-yard line. But again, if you're Duke, your defense looks at the prospect of coming on the field once again. And there is a flag on this play. As you look at the Citrus Bowl here in Orlando, as John mentioned earlier, this is a game as Fred Goldsmith just took the helm at Duke. He agreed to it. He signed off on it, and Duke agreed to play here in Orlando instead of as a home game in Durham. You know, and quite frankly, make a lot of cash.
Absolutely, and at the time, they're coming off a 3-and-8
back during the return, 10-yard penalty for the foul, first down.
First down for Florida State, but you're coming off a 3-and-8 year. You need some money. You're not exactly selling out your own stadium. See if we can identify the push in the back.
Look like early on the right side of your screen. And then we'll back Florida State up to the 15-yard line. Just to finish the point, though, Fred Goldsmith says at the time it was the right thing to do coming off that 3-and-8 year, but now he will not do it again.
Not at all. Florida State gets to play 8 games in the state of Florida this year.
Yeah.
Compliments of this game at the Citrus Bowl. They play the other ones at home, and then they go to Florida.
Play action. Kanell with time up top. E.G. Green, there's a bump, but no flag.
That's good defense by Ray Farmer. They're able to isolate Ray Farmer one-on-one. We saw his leaping ability when he blocked the extra point. This is a guy who's played baseball in the offseason. This year he gave that up, concentrated totally on football.
Yeah, a little arm in the back.
He got it, but he was going for the football. It wasn't as if he just knocked him in the back. And if they see you making an effort to go to the football, they'll let some of that go.
Farmer, a third-team All-American last year, and has rededicated himself this year for the Blue Devils, working much harder, he says. Here's Rock Preston to the outside, and he's up the sideline. One man to beat, that's Farmer. He won't get him.
Touchdown. 85-yard touchdown.
An 85-yard run by Rock Preston.
And this is why we said Warrick Dunn and Rock Preston were interchangeable. They're both about the same size. Rock Preston goes at 5'9". Warrick Dunn is 5'9". Preston's about 5 pounds heavier. But he has the speed and the strength to be able to break tackles and run 85 yards, and nobody on that defense could catch him.
You got a key block from number 89, Wayne Messam, the split end, but after he made that first break around the corner, no one was going to catch Rock Preston. 85 yards, and it is time to celebrate here in Orlando for Seminole fans.
Last year, Florida State scored 32 unanswered points in the second quarter. They have 26 so far here in the first quarter.
Now, last year it was 14-6, and remember, Duke came into that game 7-0, and they had risen to number 13 in the nation, which was, you know, at the time just the shock of college football. The unbeatens playing, and the second quarter did them in. 32 unanswered points. Actually, 32 points in that second quarter. And it was 38-6 at halftime. Bowden in his 20th year, and he has not lost an ACC game. Of course, they're 24-0 in 3 years in the league. Well, Bentley on for another extra point try. His first one was blocked, but he puts another one through the upright. 27-7, Florida State leading. And we are still in the first quarter.
Jesus Hernandez, 77, seals his name. Now watch number 54. He loses leverage. That's Chike Abunawe. Go ahead and roll it. From there, he has outside in. He's supposed to keep contained. When he does it, the defensive scheme breaks down. You have this Florida State speed. Rock Preston takes it down the sideline. And he cannot, or Ray Farmer cannot catch him, number 22.
Now, Ray Farmer trying to come all the way across the field to catch him. And may have had the angle, but Rock Preston with too much speed.
And the Duke offense somehow has to find a way to ball control. Keep the ball out of Florida State's offense. Duke so far, they have the 4-play drive for a touchdown, but then they've been 3 plays and out 3 times during the first quarter.
Well, John, it's the double-edged sword. I mean, you're down 20 points with 3:33 left in the first quarter. You think, well, we've got to get some back. We go to the air. On the other hand, you've got to establish the running game because you can't allow your defense to be on the field the whole game.
They can't look at the scoreboard offensively right now, Duke. I mean, not in the first quarter. They have to run their offense, hope for some fumbles, hope for some interceptions, some turnovers. They felt last year they lost the second half by 7 points in this game. They feel like they can play well in the second half, but defensively, you know, they're just breaking down by scheme. They had to stay in their lanes defensively. That's one thing that Jeff McInerney, the defensive coordinator, told us, and they haven't been able to do that on these big runs.
Florida State kicking off, this time from their own 20-yard line. They're actually penalized 15 yards after the celebration on the touchdown run by Rock Preston. Of course, that's a new rule this year. Here's T.J. Redmond hurling over tackles across the 40 to the 41-yard line.
I didn't see anything that was excessive. But we do have the excessive rule in this year, and they're going to call it very, very close, very early.
You are not allowed to celebrate and draw attention to yourselves. A spontaneous celebration is okay. The NCAA actually put together a film which they took around to all the teams, and if you are drawing attention to yourself, they will flag you. And common sense is going to have to come into play throughout the year on the part of the officials. That is a tough rule to enforce or not enforce. Fisher, a little bit overthrown, but he had a man there.
That was Dominic Fleming. Dominic Fleming was in good shape on the sideline. Fisher did not get the ball to him soon enough. There's Fleming working one-on-one as he breaks to the sideline. You can see he's wide open. Ball may have been tipped on the way. Fleming could not get his feet down and hold on to the football. And again, no production on first down. That hurts Duke.
Last 4 passes for Spence Fisher incomplete. He had a tough day against Florida State last year. And again, this one's tipped. The intended receiver, Lamar Marshall. And now you're looking at 3rd and 10. And a chance to go 3 and out again.
Big Julian Pittman got his hands on that. He's 6'3", 265. And now those defensive linemen are just going to be coming upfield. They are not going to be thinking run first. He pressures that pocket and is able to collapse on Spence Fisher.
So 3rd down and 10 at the 40-yard line. And straight ahead is Marshall. He sidesteps a man, and a big gain and a first down to the 45-yard line of Florida State. And there is a flag on the play.
Well, Orpheus Roy jumped off sides, so they would have had a free down anyway, but I am really impressed with Lamar Marshall.
Defense, penalty decline, first down.
Excuse me, Lamar. He's a guy that only received 1 scholarship offer. You'll see jumping offsides. Roy offsides there. But Marshall, for a guy who's not to handle the football a whole lot last year, certainly looks like he knows what he's doing in the open field. He had 1 scholarship offer, as I said. That came from Duke, and he said, hey, all you need is 1 scholarship offer. You can only go to 1 school.
That's absolutely right. Rico Owens in motion, and again, here's Marshall punishing people inside the 40 or the 35 to the 34. A straight-ahead runner, and has made some people pay for trying to tackle him today.
Well, Duke, when they run the football, uses a zone blocking scheme. You know, it's a single-back offense. You're not going to see a lead blocker or anything like that. They come off the football, and he finds the open area. Now, he can go anywhere he wants to as soon as he sees an offensive lineman create a seam, and there's a great seal block there by Jerome Ega, the center.
Like Todd Rebold being helped off the field, and Florida State can ill afford to lose a Rebold. They have already seen Darrell Bush, their fine inside linebacker, down with an injury. He is not on the field today. All-ACC performer.
That Bush is from Altamonte, Florida. It's just down the road here from Orlando, and he was really excited to play there. Watch number 7. He just keeps driving his guy, Jerome Ega. Look at him, and then he seals everything out from the inside out. And Lamar Marshall is showing power and agility in the open field.
Todd Reboll got blocked, but actually got back up after the block. Not sure when the injury occurred. Well, first down at the 35-yard line for Fisher out of the gun. Out to the flats, and there's Marshall to the 28-yard line.
And I think that makes some sense. If the defensive line is creating some problems, knocking the ball down, why not line up in the shotgun, get a little separation, and allow Spence Fisher to read downfield? You know, he only completed 2 for 14 in the first half last year against Florida State. Played much better in the second half. But he looks confident here today. You can see this is a system he fully understands now. He knows where to go with the football.
Charles London now in as the lone setback. The long counter may have been moving on the offensive line. London going nowhere. And I don't see a flag. Doesn't look at the right side. Looked like Chad Melita may have moved a little bit early.
Actually, I think the ball was just snapped a little bit early. It seemed that Melita and Jerome Ega, the center, were the only two who moved when the ball was snapped, and everybody else was just a tad late.
Look at the players dealing with the heat here today. In the 80s, high humidity, and maybe some showers this afternoon. 3rd and 3, and here's Bill Kayat, the tight end. Down to the 22-yard line. So Kayat doing a lot of work. That's who Spence Fisher loved to go to last year. Continuing again.
Well-designed play, too. Rico Owens goes across, cuts upfield, and creates a bit of a pick play. There's the fans pulling the players off.
No, actually, if you look at the perspiration,
he's working up a ladder, isn't he?
Mickey needs one of those fans. When you take a look at Bill Kayat out into the flats.
See how Rico Owens went upfield, and that allowed Kayat to go underneath him into the flat to create some separation, and then pass completion for 2.
Fisher 5 of 11 on the day, and this one's incomplete, and they throw the flags this time.
Oh, boy.
Byron Capers on the coverage. Corey Thomas, the intended receiver.
Well, the fans don't like this because they've seen no calls made against the Duke defenders so far, and here the first contact we see early. Byron Capers closes on the football, but yes, he does hit Corey Thomas.
Ball reaches his hands. First down.
Now, there's no question there was contact, but a couple of calls earlier that Florida State fans wanted to see called.
And keep in mind, in college, if it's less than 15 yards, they just spot the ball at the point of the infraction. If it's over 15 yards, it's just a 15-yard penalty.
Now, I know the score's 27-7, but look at Mickey Andrews. I mean, he's upset probably that there's a touchdown on the board and that Duke is inside his own territory. Demanding coach. Marshall again, the long setback. Kayat at the 9. Now, this is the passing game that Duke used all last year. The short passing game. They're not going to throw long on you. Of course, right now they can't. They're inside the 10-yard line. But Greg Goldsmith and his coordinator said, no, we're not going to change. It worked last year, and we've got a system that we like very much.
2nd and 7. Well, they're executing a lot better than they did last year.
Second and 7, and there's Marshall up the middle. Gotten a yard or 2, that's about it.
I think you see the closing speed of the Seminole defense on that play. Marshall looked like he had something going. He's able to break the initial surge through the line of scrimmage. Good down block by the left tackle, Patrick Manley. And as he breaks through, now he thinks, okay, here's some running room. No way. Got Robert Hammond, number 6, closing. A very aggressive Seminole defense. And Fred Goldsmith said the one adjustment we didn't make last year was for the speed of this Florida State defense.
Hanging in there, along with Sherman on the tackle. 2 young guys. Here is Spence Fisher to throw again. And down at the 7-yard line. Nowhere to go, and you've got to credit the secondary for that.
Absolutely. Spence Fisher had a lot of time to throw the football. He was trying to go to Rico Owens in the corner. Owens was well covered. Then he tried to come back off to Corey Thomas. Neither receiver was open on the wide side of the football field, and he just had to take the football down and do what he could with it.
And so on for the field goal try is Tom Cochran. Last year, 13 out of 22. His longest was a 44-yarder. So 25-yarder up, and it is good. And actually, they call it a 24-yard field goal. So Tom Cochran puts Duke on the board once again. But Florida State still up by 17 here in Orlando.
Dad, Katie has more than me.
No, she doesn't. I eat your corn pops.
She does too. I do not.
Okay. There, satisfied? Wait, my mistake. Now, she has more than you.
The problem with a cereal that's made like popcorn, only sweeter,
Still a little off.
is that it disappears like popcorn, only faster.
There, now you're even.
She's got more milk.
Kellogg's Corn Pops. It's hard to stop when it's pops.
What's the latest? No news.
Satellite imagery. Aviation forecasts.
Still waiting, sir.
The high-tech training of the weather crew is critical to over 5,000 sailors on this carrier.
Any word yet?
Yes, sir.
Right now, however, their expertise is important for a different reason.
This just in. Weather for our Liberty in Honolulu will be sunny with temperatures in the 90s.
For more information about high-tech training all over the world, call 1-800-USA-NAVY.
Save some hot water. Too late! Honey, turn up the heat.
It is up.
Please let it be him. Let it be him. Please let it be him.
The gas-fueled complete heat system from Lennox.
It's him.
Virtually unlimited hot water and comfortable home heating in one unit. And it runs on economical natural gas, so it's super efficient.
Yes! The Lennox Complete Heat System. Not just heat, complete heat.
Clean natural gas. Think what you'll save.
The newest way you can cure athlete's foot is the way doctors cure it. With the same ingredient they've prescribed millions of times. It's new prescription strength Desonex. Nothing cures athlete's foot better. New prescription strength Desonex with the doctor's cure.
Summer's almost over, and what better way to finish than with paint from Sears Labor Day paint sale. Save 15 to 50% on every color, every brand, starting at $3.99. It's the Labor Day paint sale at Sears and Sears hardware stores.
College football has a great history.
Been played for over 120.
That's a lot of...
Let me finish.
Excuse me.
Been played for over 125 years.
And that's a lot of football games.
Over 400,000 games that were attended by almost 1.5 billion spectators.
I mean, no other sport combines the tradition and the pageantry, the pageantry, the pugger.
It's a big to-do.
Of college football.
And the excitement that football generates helps support other sports on campus.
No wonder college football is great. Well done, Porridge. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Citrus Bowl here in Orlando. Terry Gannon along with John Spagnola. 27-10 as we open up the second quarter. And Florida State receiving and a lot of room on the right side. Steve Fester with a big return out to the 44-yard line. Tom Cochran had to run him down. Feaster, excuse me, is a backup tailback. Backs up Rock Preston and Warrick Dunn. And watch Tom Cochran get into the action.
Hey, he closes pretty well, too, for a kicker. Good athlete from Bethlehem, PA. Bethlehem Catholic.
Yeah, had to mention it, didn't you?
I like the way he horse-collared him down there. Look at that. Get him in the secondary.
Well, he got a little helmet there. Is that how they teach it back in Bethlehem?
Tackle high, that's right. Rip the guy's head off. It's a steel town. That's how they teach tackling.
That's what made you a hard guy, huh? Kanell to throw on first down. He's got E.G. Green with a big play inside the 30 to the 27. Desi Thomas on the coverage, and he made the stop, but not before. Green with a 34-yard catch.
There's an injury on the field.
Tawambi Settles, strong safety for Duke, is down at this point.
Speaking of injuries,
take a look at the long pass, the 34-yard pass from Kanell, and we'll see where it happens. There he is, number 6. Oh, and he just gets
He gets blindsided. Great block downfield. That's good, clean football right there.
And we'll be back to Orlando in a moment.
Come on, let's hear it! All right, up that shoe!
That's an old country. That's really old. Man, is that old. Only a country this young could create a car this cool. The Chevy Camaro. 2 airbags, fuel injection, and a double wishbone suspension. Hey, you're only young once. The new Camaro. It's genuine Chevrolet.
Just off the Pacific Coast Highway, there's a place where America ends and the Pacific begins, all right outside your window. It's the Seven Gables Inn overlooking Monterey Bay. 7 gables, 14 rooms, 1 spectacular view. So if you go, bring your wide-angle lens and your Visa card, because the Seven Gables Inn will take your breath away. But they won't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Well, look who's here. Herschel Walker and Tony Dorsett, 2 of the best college football running backs I ever saw. I'll bet you they're swapping some pretty good football stories.
Next time, I'm telling you, Tony, right profile. Really, Herschel? I've always favored my left, man.
Collect the Burger King Legends of College Football Cup. Free when you upsize your Whopper value meal for just 39 cents. Touchdown!
You think next time we should wear the helmets? In my case, the helmet is definitely on.
Emmitt Smith and the Dallas Cowboys rumble into New York for a showdown with the Giants. It's the season premiere of ABC's Monday Night Football.
Good news, Tawambi Settles walked off the field under his own power. It looked like he just got his bell rung. Blindsided by Philip Riley. And he is okay on the sideline. Straight ahead is Warrick Dunn down to the 20-yard line as the Seminoles continue to move the ball.
And that's a direct snap from the center.
And earlier on a play, Bill Kyatt goes out of bounds. This is why I like being up in the booth. Oh, one of the photographers underneath Bill Kyatt and actually twists an ankle, but she is just fine. Through a huge hand from the crowd as she was wheeled off. Kind of embarrassing. There's the screen to Dunn. Makes one man miss. Fumbles the football. Duke thinks they have it. But the Seminoles keep possession. The vulnerable spot they came up with the football. In fact, T. Edwards, the Duke strong safety, thought he had it and is still arguing. See if we can see it.
Well, again, Warrick does such a terrific job breaking tackles right there. Yeah, it looks like John Zawanich gets an elbow on the football, and it goes right into the hands of James Kirkland, 94, and it must have slipped out and gone back to Florida State because he had the first shot at it.
I'm not sure how Duke did not come up with the football. First and 10 at the 14, and a little bit behind Nelson, but he makes the catch at the 1. And that's where they'll rule him down. Kanell to Wayne Nessum, and he just did get stopped at the 1-yard line. Brandon Pollock on the coverage and the hit.
Well, Nessum is working one-on-one with Brandon Pollock. One of the problems you have that situation is a blitz. It just took too long to get there. That little outside move created room.
And into the end zone for another score. Florida State unstoppable here in the first half. Pooh Bear Williams with a carry. Had a touchdown early in the first quarter. And now puts another one on the board. All 280 pounds of it.
He's a hard guy to move. He can move that pile. I don't think he gets a lot of help from his offensive line. But, you know, for a guy who's weighing somewhere between 260 and 300, he can still get up in the air.
Well, they had him stopped, but it was Ray Farmer, defensive back, unfortunately, who hit him first. And Bentley on for another point after. So the Seminoles open up the 95 year in good fashion.
There's no place on earth that I'd rather be than out in the open where it's all plain to see. If it's gonna get done, It's up to you and to me, and there's no place that I'd rather be. Come on along and head for the mountains of Bushmere. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth, and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bushmere.
As soon as a State Farm customer calls with a claim, I'm right on the phone to our claim center.
We work as partners. Nancy gives me the information, then I contact our customer.
We've settled hundreds of claims together. John's attitude is...
You got to be quick, and you've got to be fair.
Quick and fair.
At State Farm, teamwork is what it's all about.
We make a great team.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
If you buy a new Cavalier today, we wouldn't be surprised if by the time it's scheduled for a tune-up, you've already got it paid off. If by the time it needs new rear shocks, you have your master's degree. If by the time it needs a transmission fluid change, your baby is in first grade. Or if by the time it needs a new muffler, we've elected 2 presidents. Any car can be easy to buy. The new Cavalier is easy to own. That's what makes it a genuine Chevrolet.
At 8 o'clock tonight, don't miss the second game of our college football doubleheader. Butch Davis, first-year coach, takes his Hurricanes of Miami out west to take on 15th-ranked UCLA. That should be an awfully good game. And also, check about Colorado and Wisconsin on pay-per-view. You can call your local cable operator. That is all tonight here on ABC. C.J. Redmond deep in his own end zone, and that one will come out to the 20. So on the last drive, Duke with a 24-yard field goal. And they look to do it again here. At the conclusion of today's game, we'll be selecting a genuine Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game from each team. To date, Chevrolet has contributed almost $5.5 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities. Spence Fisher on the day, 6 of 12 for 48 yards and a touchdown. Again, Lamar Marshall, the only back in the backfield, and Fisher has to throw. And he's got Corey Thomas deep, and he overthrew him. And he had a step on Marlon Green. Spence Fisher would love to get that one back.
Yeah, on first down, a great call. Play action outside. Just a little bit of a pump fake. Watch Corey Thomas sprint downfield now. And there he is, goes flying by Marlon Green. That ball is just thrown a little bit too far. And Fred Goldsmith would love to have that one back.
Well, we talked about the secondary for Florida State. One of the question marks because only Sean Hamlin is a returning starter. Straight ahead to the 23-yard line. And a huge hit by Todd Rebold to make the stop. But a Marlon Green especially, John, here's a guy who transferred and has 1 year of eligibility. Takes some time to get that chemistry down.
Well, I think if there's one area of weakness for Florida State, it is in the secondary. 3 new starters, new guys getting into play, and they're a little concerned about that. And Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator, says, I just got to make sure they line up correctly and don't blow any coverages. They're capable of making great plays, but also capable of blowing coverages, and we saw that on the previous play.
3rd and 7, and Spence Fisher overthrows Lamar Marshall. Duke will have to punt now. Some extracurriculars going on the field, and a flag as well.
Here, Boulware is involved in this. 58. It looks like he got tangled up with John Merrill, number 73. Merrill going against Boulware. It's a personal foul against Florida State. Well, actually, it's against both teams. On the left side, number 73 is John Merrill. He's the left tackle. Plays with a ponytail. We saw him yesterday walkthrough.
Yeah, you
had
can't
that
see
thing
it
tucked up underneath there, but.
And Fred Goldsmith allows that. He wants his players to be individuals. And Merrill really flunked out a couple of years ago, so one of the reasons he came back was Fred Goldsmith. You see the aftermath of that. Boulware being shoved out of the play.
Actually, Chad Molina, 64, may have been involved in it, but Goldsmith very upset. And you saw him say stupid. We can hear that all the way up here.
Yes.
And I don't know who was stupid, his player, the referee, or...
John Merrill, senior. Fred Goldsmith came on board last year, and after Merrill had sat out the previous year. Really was not wanting to play football anymore, not really wanting to attend Duke.
Somehow it looks like Duke has the football, and we had offsetting penalties.
And now Florida State will take a timeout. So we'll try to sort all of this out and know what's going on by the time we come back. 34-10, Florida State.
We designed the new Chevrolet Monte Carlo to be your own personal space. So what you want in is in, like an ergonomically designed driver's seat and all analog gauges. And what you want out is out, like noise. So even with its dual overhead cam 24-valve V6 pulling to the red line, Monte Carlo Z34 is a very quiet place. In fact, we recorded this commercial inside a Monte Carlo at 55 miles per hour. Introducing the new Monte Carlo. It's genuine Chevrolet.
College football teaches a lot of tough lessons, some tougher than others. And even though my football days are over, the lessons are still being taught. Only now, I'm doing the teaching, thanks to Hitachi's Promise of Tomorrow Scholarship Program, a program that awards $5,000 teaching scholarships to students like myself who are associated with college football. While giving lessons isn't easy, it couldn't be harder than receiving them.
Hitachi and the CFA committed to fulfilling the promise of tomorrow.
Our universities are reaching out to their communities. We're excited that student athletes and college staff are volunteering with United Way programs. All of us have a responsibility to give something back, and it's a vital part of our student athletes' learning experience.
Let's go.
We're touching ACC communities in a wonderful way by helping people who really need help. Together, we're making a difference that lasts a lifetime.
ACC and United Way, reaching out to our community.
So we think we have it figured out. We think. On the last play, a dead ball foul, penalties against both teams, offsetting penalties, but because the first one occurred against Florida State, that gave Duke a first down. Now they have the first down at the same place they just had the football. And on first down, straight ahead is Marshall for a couple of yards. And I don't know when I've seen that lately, James.
And I didn't see Florida State protesting too much, so they seem to be able to accept it, but I guess it's a lot easier to accept when you're up 24 points in the second quarter.
Bobby Bowden, awfully happy about the squad he's got this year. You talk to him, and coaches are usually very reserved, but all of his coaches, his coordinators, say this is a very talented team, and they have a lot of confidence. Double patch, and here's Deck. Rico Owens, the man, the unfortunate man, on the receiving end of that. And Sam Coward just leveled it.
Yeah, that's not exactly what I would call reading the coverage. Spence Fisher had a guy out in front of him, Rico Owens, and I think he sees that Florida State defense, number 56, is going to be close. He said, hey, you take it. Sam Coward said, holy mackerel, I can't believe this is happening.
I mean, Sam Coward, his eyes had to be so big. I mean, you don't get chances like that very often.
Better read the underneath coverage next time. Sam Coward's going to take somebody's head off.
76 tackles on the year last year. A big one here. Here's Fisher to throw. Behind Owens and almost picked off. Sean Hamlin had a chance to pick that ball off after Owens tipped it. Hamlin, a junior out of Hampton, Virginia.
Hamlin's the only returning starter in that defense. And again, it was just zone coverage underneath. Linebackers able to get their hands on the football.
So Kruger into punt. Top return punter in the ACC, almost a 42-yard average last year. There is Dexter Jackson back to his own 26-yard line. Working tackles, still on his feet, across midfield. And down at the 41-yard line, but there's a flag on the play back at the Florida State 46.
Well, Kruger outkicked his coverage a little bit. And Dexter Jackson, a quarterback in high school, true freshman, forced to play in the secondary because they're so deep at quarterback here. Shows his skills as a runner. And there's the block in the back right there. It's not really much of a block.
but it looked like Tyrant Marion, number 86, blocked somebody in the back.
10-yard penalty by the foul. First down.
You know, John, you expect a lot of these, too, in the first game of the year. But in a game in which you're leading 34-10, and Bobby Bowden, I'm sure, will have a few words after this first half is over about some of the mistakes they made in the first half.
Well, that's true, especially in a kicking game like this. It's very difficult to simulate kicking game situations. Punting, kickoff returns, you can scrimmage offensive and defensive plays, but kicking game oftentimes is just a big question mark. The fortunate thing today for both teams is that they have experienced kickers and punters.
Danny Kanell to throw up the near sideline. Philip Riley. And out of bounds. He made the catch, but out of bounds in good coverage by Brandon Pollock.
Brandon Pollock runs into the receiver at the last second, but turns his head for the football and is able to get away. And the fans here are livid because they've seen a pass interference call against their team. There he is. He creates contact, but then he turns and looks for the football, and that's just enough to convince the side judge that there's no infraction, but there's no question there's contact on this football play, as Philip Riley was not able to go back and catch the football.
Well, and Riley was also a man who really initiated the contact by coming back to try to catch the football. Now on play action. And complete to Andre Cooper. How about that throw?
That's just great execution. The throw to the wide side of the football field. Cooper comes back to the football a little bit. Excellent coverage by Pollock on that play. You can see the strength of the arm of Danny Kanell. It's a much wider throw than he'll have to throw when he goes to the pros next year. The hash marks are a little wider in college.
9-yard gain on second down, so it's 3rd and 1. There goes Warrick Dunn. To the 47 of Duke, Billy Granville there to make the stop to find inside linebacker for the Blue Devils. Next week, Florida State and Clemson. Another ACC matchup, and Clemson
running that wishbone.
win.
Tommy West.
Yep.
And they battled Florida State tough last year. They only lost 17-0.
You say only, but that's exactly right. I mean, Florida State averaging well over 40 points a game throughout their entire ACC history.
Here comes Dunn. To the 27. Granville again in on the stop, but not before another big game.
I say Brandon Pollock has got to be a tired guy. He's bent over. Look at him. I mean, he's been covering. He's had to force the run there. He is just out of oxygen.
Gain of 20, and they don't let you rest. Here's Philip Riley. Brought down at the 11.
That's exactly right, Terry. They do not let you rest with this offense.
Tawambi Settles made the hit. But, you know, you're on the field for Duke. You've been on the field most of the day. I mean, the sustained drives by Florida State, and they're not huddling. In this heat, this humidity, that is a tall order. There's a timeout on the field. 10:28 left till halftime. 34-10.
You know, people always ask, how can I tell if I'm a redneck? Well, if your family tree does not fork, you might be a redneck.
The Jeff Foxworthy Show, Tuesday, September 12th on ABC.
You might be a redneck.
Meet Nora Wilde, tabloid photographer.
Beast, look at you. Just go. Oh, more of that. That's so sexy.
The Naked Truth premieres Wednesday, September 13th on ABC.
No, I'm seeing somebody. Thank you.
Storm clouds gathering overhead of the Citrus Bowl. 34-10 Florida State. And the Seminoles driving once again down to the 11-yard line, and Duke takes a timeout. And, John, this isn't a strategy timeout, is it?
No, it isn't. It's a fatigue timeout. I mean, you want to use your timeouts effectively. Right here, the Duke defense was reeling. You had guys bent over, tired. Brandon Pollock just pulled himself out after being involved in several plays. They just had to call timeout to give these guys a rest defensively.
You know, the heat is one thing, but actually it has been just about as hot. In fact, I think they have...
He chartered that.
Yeah, they chartered it in Durham as it has been down here in Florida. Fred Goldsmith has chartered the temperatures, and it's actually, they've had more hot days than...
yeah, but there's not a lot of substituting going on in this Duke defense. Florida State offensively and defense has been rolling their players. And again, that goes back to what we talked about when we started the game today, and that is the depth of talent on this football team. Every position on Florida State, there's talented people, and they go 2-3 deep. It's incredible.
Andrews and Sussman out of the eye. And they give to Dennis Andrews. He's wrapped up in the backfield. Bernard Holsey was there to meet him. Holsey, a 6'2", 285-pound senior out of Cave Spring, Georgia. And playing the best of anyone on that defensive line. And maybe the strongest man on the defensive line.
Total yards so far for Florida State, 402 to Duke's 122. That's an impressive margin right there.
Not a bad first half for the Seminoles, huh? 402 yards.
They averaged 483 last year. I have a feeling they're going to go past that.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm really going out on a limb, aren't I?
2nd and 11 after the loss of 1. Kanell wide open is Cooper, touchdown.
Andre Cooper just turned around. Number 20. Keenan Holly, who came in again for Brandon Pollock, turned him around on a post corner move. Here he is one-on-one. Let's see if we can pick up number 20. There it is right there. He's driving the slant in. Forget it. That's your old post corner move right there. And that's taking advantage of a substitution on defense.
Maybe the worst place to be today in all of college football in the secondary for Duke.
All year long against this team. They have, as I said, they have 8 receivers they throw at you offensively. Andre Cooper, though, the returning veteran.
Well, another good one coming up tonight. Miami traveling west to take on the UCLA Bruins. Ryan Collins at quarterback. Butch Davis, the first-year coach.
You know, UCLA, too, they finished last year at 5-6.
Yeah.
It tells you about the kind of talent they have coming back to be ranked 15th in the country preseason after a poor record by that. And they have a guy by the name of Sharman Shaw, number 33, who will now be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That's right. We'll see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar run the football out in L.A. And a big offensive line to go with him. And Michigan up at the half in a huge game in the Big Ten. Illinois, of course, with the great linebackers, Simeon Rice, Kevin Hardy. And they trail by 10. Michigan, of course, I think with the advantage, having played a game last week.
Yeah, that's right. And Illinois was, they missed Penn State on the schedule. They thought if they got past Michigan, they could really help their chances in winning the Big Ten this year. Of course, Michigan, with that extra game, getting the leg up on Lou Tepper's football team.
So it's 41-10. And we have 9 minutes and 42 seconds left in this first half. Could that be right? I guess it is. Here's T.J. Redmond out to the 15-yard line and no further. 26. No battles in on the stop. And a look for the first time at backup quarterback Dave Green, a sophomore out of Charlotte, North Carolina. As Spence Fisher will take a seat on the sidelines. No word on any injury to Fisher at this point, so maybe Fred Goldsmith's just trying to change things up. They love this young man.
Well, he's a very good athlete. Of course, he's learning under Spence Fisher, and he's going to see some real game action here. Be interesting to see how he responds to this crowd and, of course, to the conditions of this football game. But I can't fault Spence Fisher. I can't really pick out many mistakes he's made in this game today.
From Green to Le'Veon Marshall, and he is brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Greg Spires, the defensive end, in the backfield to make the stop. And we saw that final earlier. Purdue edging number 23 West Virginia.
Purdue goes against Notre Dame next week, so that's a big win for them.
And that is on the road at Ross-Ade Stadium, I believe.
I'll take your word for it.
I believe it is. Georgia between the hedges with a win over the Gamecocks. And Green to throw, that ball's tipped. He had Adam Geis out in the flat, and he was well covered anyway. Greg Spires, who just brought down Marshall in the backfield, gets a hand on that. Here's a look at the sophomore from Cape Coral, Florida.
What a surprise that is. Air Force upsetting BYU.
For the first time, Fisher DeBerry beats BYU.
Right, only the second win for that team against BYU in their history.
And then Grambling with the lead over Alcorn State today on the second. So third down and 11. Ball's on the 14-yard line. A long count for Dave Green. Goes to Corey Thomas and almost picked off. double coverage on Thomas. Maybe an ill-advised pass by Green.
Well, Green just eyeballed his receiver all the way down the field and allowed Sean Hamlet, number 18, the safety, just to play center field and to drive that football. Thomas did have the cornerback beat. Again, once you turn your head as a quarterback and look in a direction, a free safety is going to take off in that direction.
So John Kruger on for the 5th time today, and Dexter Jackson back for the Seminoles, standing at his own 45-yard line. And a low kick, end over end. And Jackson falls down after losing the handle on that one.
Not quite as pretty as the last return, was it?
No, it was not. A 38-yard kick and no return. Don't forget, coming up, the Prudential halftime report. John Saunders will have scores and highlights from all of today's action. Plus, stay tuned for this. Lynn Swann has an exclusive interview with former Alabama star Antonio Langham about the NCAA violations, which helped land the University of Alabama on probation. And John's also going to have the reaction of Alabama's head coach Gene Stalling. So that's all coming up after half.
Well, Alabama's appealing that decision by the NCAA, and they're pretty upset about it.
Oh, and what a hit. The intended receiver, Peter Warrick, and he was just popped.
Sidney Wells, 48, came in and made that hit again. Sidney Wells, not a guy who's expected to start today. I'm sorry, I have my guys confused.
Watch the hit. There goes Peter Warrick with the catch, and Wells is right there to meet him.
That was Sidney Wells. He closed. Kind of got him back for that previous play before when Sam Cowart was able to move in and lay the leather on somebody.
And in for Danny Kanell now is Thad Busby, a sophomore out of Pace, Florida. And if you've seen this young man play, backing up Kanell last year, he has got it on. And the pass complete to number 8, Damian Harrell, the junior out of Miami and a junior college transfer from San Francisco Community College.
Yeah, Damian Harrell's a guy who caught Bobby Bowden's eye in some scrimmages here in the summertime, and he thinks he's going to be a great football player. Then you're seeing some wholesale substitutions here, and Florida State can roll people in and out. They don't have to huddle up. They go to the I formation now.
First down, and Busby to Rock Preston. Dances, looking for room. He's got some to the 24-yard line. Making it look easy at this point.
Preston was the beneficiary of a great block by his tight end, Amari Charlton, who started today. Watch number 83 on the left side of your screen. Just make that terrific hook block, gets position on James Kirkland. That opens up the outside. Cut block downfield. People on the ground for two. And Preston makes a big gain.
Gain of 22. And now the first down at the 22-yard line. They split the backs in the backfield. Now they go into the I. Williams and Preston. Preston 120 yards on the day already. And here goes Busby. And brought down by one arm. At the sideline, Kirkland. James Kirkland brought him down with one arm.
Yeah, he got beat on the last play, and he's not going to let Busby run outside of him. Busby's a little better athlete than Kanell, we were told. He'll run a little bit better. He's got a very strong arm. Here he is trying to get outside. And again, Kirkland not fooled by the bootleg action, and that hurts right there. That's a tough way to go down. Your body's not supposed to bend that way. But defenders don't really care which way your body's supposed to bend.
And we've got a huddle. Oh, my gosh. What's going on? One of the first times that Florida State has actually gone back to a huddle. The fast break offense the entire first half. And on second and 14, they actually took too much time.
Delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
That's it. We'll never see Florida State huddle for the rest of the year.
Well, that'll teach them. They go to the huddle for the first time, and they have a delay of game. So it backs him up. And right about the 31-yard line. Second down and 19 with Thad Busby, the quarterback. They fake the reverse, and Warrick Dunn tries to get to the outside. Down to the 18-yard line. And pushed out of bounds by Billy Granville. Granville, number 52, the inside linebacker, and second-team All-ACC last year, along with John Zwanich I mean, this is a guy who is awfully focused, John, one of the most intense players coaches say they've ever been around.
And you see the fake reverse. It has a little bit of an effect on the defense on the outside, just gets them to step a little bit to their left, and that creates some room for Warrick Dunn.
But a gain of about 13, so it's 3rd and 6 now as Busby looks to the air. Now he'll run it. Hits by Granville, and Pollock brings him down just outside the 10 and near the first down.
Pollock back in the football game. He got his rest. He's able to close and make the play there. But look at that young man. You don't think he's hurting a little bit here today.
So Busby with the great arm, but shows that he can sidestep you a little bit as well.
And Busby, we should mention, is in there now as a backup because John Stark, who was the backup last year, transferred out of the school. Went to Trinity International, NAIA Division II school. So he does not have to sit out a year.
And next Saturday, it's a college football doubleheader on ABC Sports. At noon, you'll see the Seminoles, and John and I will be there as they take on the Clemson Tigers at Death Valley or other regional action. Then at 3:30 Eastern, a national showdown. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame under the watchful eye of Lou Holtz meet Purdue. A big win today for Purdue over West Virginia. So check your local listings for the game in your area and call your local cable operator. The game's available on pay-per-view. It's next Saturday here on ABC Sports. Obviously not a neutral site here, though it is billed as one. It is a home game for Duke. I mentioned earlier that they gave it up a couple of years ago, and it will not do that again. So says Fred Goldsmith, but most of the fans in the stands wearing the colors of the Seminoles today. You know, and no one's kidding anyone. I mean, the Duke coaching staff knew coming into this game that this potential was here. To see Florida State put a lot of points on the board in the first half, and that's what's taken place. And I think from here on out, especially after we go to halftime, we still have 7:02 left. You know, you find out a lot about your players and about what will happen throughout the rest of the year, and you think you do a lot with that in terms of teaching, John. 4th and 1. And here comes Dunn. Inside the 10, he has the first down to the 8-yard line. Chike Abunwe in on the tackle with Bernard Holsey.
And big number 77, Jesus Hernandez, the most versatile of the offensive linemen, goes in motion.
Hey, how'd you like to carry the ball behind this man? Pooh Bear Williams.
I would love to it, as long as he could get to the blocker. They say he's good for a couple of plays here and there. 77, Jesus Hernandez in motion. Good blocking again at the point of attack. And just an easy first down conversion there on 4th down by Florida State.
So first down at the 9. And Rock Preston goes down in the backfield. Number 94, James Kirkland, who is listed technically as what they call a cat linebacker, actually plays more of a defensive end, not unlike.
You know, they expect a lot out of him. He was a little bit overweight, and Fred Goldsmith, the head coach, goaded him into losing weight. He used to go jogging with him. They said this guy is very critical of the way he plays football. Just never thinks he has a perfect play, but he's shown some big plays here so far today.
2nd and goal at the 12. Preston with some room. Can he get there? No. Down to the 3-yard line. And Ray Farmer, the man who saved the touchdown.
John Zawanich blitzes from the outside. Again, once you get past the blitzing linebackers on this Duke defense, again, you see 26 flashing. He goes to the quarterback instead of the football.
Here comes Pooh Bear into the end zone. His 3rd touchdown of the afternoon.
You think Pooh Bear might be calling William Refrigerator Perry's agent right now? Well, I guess you can't say agents in college football. I'm sorry, Pooh Bear, but he's got the makings of a guy who's going to create quite a story scoring from in close.
And look at the Duke defensive squad with their hands on their knees. Pooh Bear not quite tipping the scales at the fridge level at this point.
Not quite, that's right.
Bentley in again. He has gotten a workout today. Up and good with the point after. Well, when they get near the goal line, there's not much surprise in the offense, as opposed to most of the time. Give it to Pooh Bear, let him run straight ahead.
Oh, boy, he almost collapses the knee of his offensive tackle there. Jesus Hernandez, number 77. Watch his left knee there. Oh,
just does
he
get
got that out of time in time. Just barely got it out. That's the difference sometimes between grass and AstroTurf. On turf. Now look at that. You get a couple of 2-yard runs and look how tired he is.
Pooh Bear on the afternoon, 3 carries, 5 yards.